Happy holidays! Welcome to the holiday special. In honor of December 25 and Christmas season in general, we're gonna look into the latest annual report of the Coca Cola Company. A long history of associating itself with this holiday. Let's dive in so that our wisdom can blossom. The income statement. Revenue 10 billion more than just 2 years ago. That did come with a slight reduction in gross margin. The balance sheets. Current assets almost identical. Ratio of total assets to liabilities in the 1.3 to 1.5 range. Statement of cash flows. Depreciation actually going down in the last couple of years. However, there is an increase in a row called other operating charges. That's a vague title. We don't really know what those are unless we look into it. Like lots of other really big successful companies we've been seeing in the 2022 season so far, Coca-Cola might be starting to compete with banks in doing banking type things. In conclusion of the opening move, let's look into what this other operating charges actually is. And then after that, let's just pop over to the management's part of the annual report and see what the management has to say. Just a happy little check-in. Without too much trouble, we're finding that these other operating charges are all related to previous acquisitions. They are actually contingent considerations, sometimes called earnouts. This is becoming more and more popular. When Coca-Cola purchases Fairlife or any other business, I didn't even know they own Fairlife now, but that's a milk brand that my parents like. But anyway, Coca-Cola has agreed to pay additional money to the previous owners of Fairlife. We won't know how much longer this will go on for. It would not be uncommon for earnouts to exist for at least a decade or so after the acquisition goes on for companies of this size. Certainly, people selling to Coca-Cola should be aware that they could probably ask for targets many years out in advance. Just the cost of doing business at this scale. Now we've transitioned to the item 7 to see what's the latest that the management has to say. A total beverage company, all right. More than 200 countries and territories, very impressive. They've got the trademark Coca-Cola, sparkling flavors, water, sports, coffee and tea, juice, value-added dairy. I guess that's where Fairlife comes in. Plant-based beverages, and emerging beverages. We own and market 5 of the world's top 6 non-alcoholic sparkling soft drink brands. That is, of course, the Coke products, the Sprites, and the Fantas. We believe our success depends on our ability to connect with customers. Now we're getting into the interesting stuff. Challenges and risks very high up in the item 7. Sometimes this isn't talked about at all in the item 7, and so kind of cool. Coca-Cola leading by example, not getting comfortable even in its great position. But here's some of the challenges they're mentioning. Their biggest challenge is obesity. We understand that obesity is a complex public health challenge and we are committed to being a part of the solution. Oh, okay. Expect no less because as they're saying here, the heritage of this company is to lead. They are resolute in continuing to innovate, to find winning solutions in the area of non-caloric sweeteners. All right. Another section here is that management revealing that they're quite focused on structural changes, acquired brands, and newly licensed brands. They're explaining to us that unit case volume is a key metric. So it's not about the revenue necessarily. It's not about how much they're charging. It's about how much are people sipping on beverages that this business had a part in serving. Speaking of volume growth, here are some growth metrics. In the latest year, overall grew worldwide by 5%. That growth happened mostly in Latin America and Asia Pacific, but growth everywhere. This 5% average growth was 5% of 31.3 billion unit cases. Looking at Europe, they're actually drinking significantly less juice and dairy. Latin America, water, sports, coffee, and tea grew as much as juice, and both of those two really were kind of rocketing up compared to everything else. In North America, everything growing just 1 or 2 or 3 percentage points, a bit of a saturated market. And then finally, in Asia Pacific, the fastest growing segment was the sparkling flavors, different than everywhere else actually. Well, there we go. Coca-Cola broad, available in over 200 countries, selling everything from plant-based beverages to innovative artificial sweetener goodies that are going to fix the obesity crisis, God willing. Hey, if you're getting more comfortable uncovering the stories behind the numbers, please like and subscribe. This is what a business that is a leader in the world looks like. This is the sorts of things that they think about. Companies in these positions very often stop thinking about things like revenue and profit. You might notice we actually saw very little tables and numbers in this report. Instead, they're focused on world health issues, on how many people they're impacting. The only number they really track is how often is someone sipping on a Coca Cola beverage. They want to be a part of people's lives. They want to stay a part of people's lives. Always reassuring to see what real leadership looks like. To everyone taking a little bit of time for themselves and perhaps for their families, thank you for taking a few minutes to join me on this holiday special, and I wish all the best for you and yours. Remember that this channel is all about hearing the stories behind the numbers, then practicing guessing whether this story does or does not represent value according to a value investment AI. That is our Sage Seeds AI, which we are going to call in now to give us its take. Please take a moment to guess whether Coca Cola is going to rank high or low in the 2022 season. It is also tremendously helpful to explain your reasoning to someone around you before seeing the results if you are able. Do that now. Coca Cola ranked 351st out of 615 in value for the 2022 season, putting it just in the bottom half of companies, a very average ranking. I'm now going to interpret what the Sage Seeds AI is picking up on. Despite not really focusing on profitability at any point, Coca Cola is still an above average profitable company. It makes more money in net income per dollar of working capital than most. Such a partnership-focused business, actually mostly collecting things like royalties and trademark patent fees, rather than necessarily doing the capital-intensive bottling and running of factories itself. Some of the biggest expenses that Coca-Cola has are research and development, but its biggest cost has and probably always will be sales and marketing. All of its partners benefit from Coca-Cola headquarters' focus on maintaining its brand and from all the acquisitions they're able to find. The main thing pulling this ranking down, according to the Sage Seeds AI, is a very high market cap relative to sales. Yes, Coca-Cola is making tens of billions of dollars in sales every year, but the prices on this thing never get anywhere near what would be a quote-unquote average multiple. Coca-Cola is basically always expensive on a relative basis. Certainly during the 2022 season, this was no different. It's very difficult to score high in this ranking if you are not giving investors a lot of bang for the buck. Coca-Cola has a lot of bang, just not a lot of bang for the buck. Thank you for watching until the end. Let me know your reaction to this in the comments. Also, let me know if you or anyone you know has ever considered investing in Coca-Cola. Sure, you might not be getting the biggest value bargains. When you're able, share your wisdom, then share this video.